I'm Lisa.
And this is the Paid Media Playbook, where we talk to marketing professionals about their challenges, tactics, and triumphs.
Join us here at Double Z Media for weekly conversations about media strategies for marketing leaders. Thank you for joining us. We are here today with Sara Gerard and Melissa Grace. How are you both doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We're pretty well.
Well, before we dive in, would you start by giving our listeners just a brief overview of your career history?
Sure. So I've been doing marketing and social media for, I don't even want to say how long because then it'll reveal too much about me. But it's been a really long time. I started as a producer. I was an event producer a long, long time ago. I traveled the world, had a great time, met lots of cool people. But then, as you have children, you stay in one place, or you tend to. So then I started marketing, mostly with gaming. I worked for a lot of gaming companies, and then I moved over to healthcare and did that for about 4 years before I started RockitWorks, which is where we are now and where we've been for the past 7 or 8 years. And I met Melissa because she was my client at Providence.
Yeah, so my background, funny enough, I started in events as well. I used to open facilities, so arenas in Boston, Alabama. I was all over the place. And always did the marketing, worked on marketing plans, a lot of ticket sales, then took a job with Providence. And as Sara said, is where we met each other. And she used to create all the content. So I managed the 148 different social media channels that Providence has. And so Sara helped with the planning and the strategy and content creation. So from there, when I left Providence, Sara and I decided that we could work together. She did such good work that I figured it would be a good partnership.
Joining forces has been amazing. And that is coincidentally how we learned all the ups and downs and pitfalls of paid media.
Yeah.
Right? It was a big do-it-yourself situation over there.
It's interesting that you both started in events. Do you feel like your time there had any specific insights that helped you as you moved into a marketing role?
Actually, yeah. I mean, like I said, I was a producer. So I used to like to say that I love creating order from chaos. Right. And so that's, that whole skill set in itself helped shape what we do now.
You got into content. You guys primarily create content.
Yeah.
Whether that be video or copywriting or social strategy.
Anything. Honestly, anything we can do. Yeah.
I love it. And how long has RockitWorks been open?
We started in September of 2017.
Cool. Well, I just want to say that sometimes we have RockitWorks as part of our team internally here at Double Z. So we are very happy to have you guys on as team members too.
It's nice having a big community of very talented people around us. Yeah.
For sure.
And you work with such a diverse portfolio of clients, like Laura mentioned, sometimes with us as a partner agency, and of course, often directly with clients. What do you feel is the difference between when you are partnering directly with a client versus with a different marketing agency?
That's a great question because honestly, I don't think I treat anyone any differently. We just become part of the team when we have a client. So with Providence, I took it very personally. All of the content that went out, if it wasn't up to my standards, I wasn't good with it going out, right? So we just integrate as part of the team. We have to understand the marketing goals. We have to understand the audiences and the tone and, the ins and outs of brand guidelines. And we just integrate on any team we go on, whether it's a, solopreneur or the third largest healthcare company in the country.
Yeah, I feel like we have an ability to become, like Sara had said, part of the team, and to in some cases we've been with companies who are just starting out. So we actually can help them sort of kick things off and figure out what is it they need to do, how do they get started. And, funny enough, your questions about, media buying and and the questions that we get from people who have no idea, right? Is it boosting? Is it media buying? Do we need content planning strategy? So I think we do have the ability sort of to either hit the floor running with you or come in and sort of adapt and be part of that team right away.
And we've been talking a lot about, content, which of course is king, right? You can't run an ad without an ad to run. But I feel like you all at RockitWorks are sort of uniquely positioned to really see how the landscape has changed in regards to organic versus paid placements over the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's always changing. Yeah. And, in the past, I don't know, probably 5+ years, you used to be, well, when it started, right? You remember back in the glory days of Facebook where you could post and everyone would see it, right? Yeah. And everyone would interact, and it was a great way to connect. And it slowly became a place where you had to really make paid media part of your strategy in order to get seen. And so, having great content is one thing, but you have to make sure people see it. And there's definitely organic ways of doing that, but also being able to target, like what you guys do is amazing, being able to specifically target, certain demographics and making sure that the people that you really know would enjoy this content or would respond to this content will get their eyeballs on it, I think is an important part of the mix.
Absolutely. Especially, I saw a metric recently, or a statistic that said less than 10% of your followers see your content on Instagram now.
Oh yeah, it's less than 10. Yeah, for sure. It's been like, what, Melissa, 4 to 6 for a long time.
It's sort of like, I think the analogy that I heard was it's like being in a stadium and like yelling out into the stadium, and literally like maybe the first row, like a couple people hear you. Whereas then when you actually place media or put money behind things, now you have a spotlight and you actually have a microphone, and you can begin to find the groups that, that want your message. And so it's trying to figure out how to explain that to some of our clients and to, help them better understand that it's really important to have that media spend.
Yeah, I know people are so focused on followers, aren't they? And it's not.
And it really is. I mean, it's great to have a huge following, but it really is a vanity metric, right? Like, as you guys know very well, like if it's just a bunch of people who, or bots or whatever, like you're not going to get anything out of it, even if you've got, 30,000 followers.
Yeah, I can look at it. I also did a lot of work with influencers as well. And so it was very interesting that at the beginning when the influencer, the craze was starting, it was like, who's the biggest and best? Who can we get? And what it went down to was who's actually has an audience that's going to engage with them. So I would find, someone with 10,000 followers and get the engagement that we needed. And so it's really been an educational process from the beginning to the end. But again, that, at the beginning, it was, like Sara said, all about the likes. How many? I got 1 million people on this campaign.
Yeah, but what did you get from that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, something that I think, Sara, you and I got the delightful opportunity to struggle with together recently was trying to get LinkedIn Business Center to behave properly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And I think is the perfect illustration of, Meta obviously has been in the game one of the longest, definitely the biggest player there in paid social media. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing other platforms now trying to do the same things, trying to implement advertising, trying to get business centers set up so that you can share assets, trying to do all of the first party data, and seeing them sort of adapt the strategies that Meta has had sort of slowly one at a time has been a sort of a fascinating evolution.
It comes down to a lot of it. It comes down to time, right? Like where is your time best spent, especially as if you're an entrepreneur, or even for me, when I was at Providence, I had a team of 14 people, and still I needed, Sara's team at RockitWorks to make the content, other groups to place the advertising. So do what you're good at. That's one thing that I heard and have always thought is, if you don't buy media, if you don't do that, then, there's someone else who can help you.
Yeah. That's when I started my business. I had a business coach, and he hammered that in. I was like, but I hate paying the bills or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Navigating that. And he's like, then hire someone to do that. I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't realize I don't have to do all of it myself. Yeah.
Yes, that's like the biggest thing I learned having my own company was that it's way better to have an expert do it than spend your time.
That's something that I hear verbatim quite often is, oh, I can do that. And it's like, well, we're not doubting your ability. I know that you're capable of this. The question is, do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Should you want to do it?
Yeah, we get that a lot with smaller clients or smaller potential clients where they're like, oh, well, my nephew can do the social media, right? And it's like, well, sure, they can probably post every now and then, but will they have the right strategy? Do they understand messaging? Do they understand your brand guidelines?
Well, I think one thing that's always the question, we talk about how it's completely integrated, paid and organic on social media.
Yeah.
Dependent on each other, can't have one without the other.
Right.
But how do you find the right audience and balance between the two? And it would be nice if there was a silver bullet, right? Like, oh, you should have this many posts per week and you should boost this many of them with exactly this amount of money and you'll be successful. But
if only, right? If only there was a formula for that. Well, what we've been telling people, and we like to ease into it. We like to baby step into it. So we have a new client that we're doing content for next month that we do want to have a paid element to, that he does need to get in front of certain audiences for certain, he has different audience segments, first of all, right? So you're not going to just serve up all the content to everybody and pay for it. So in order to target them, as you well know, we need to put money behind it, get the right messaging, and send it off into that particular group of people, right? So we're easing into it. So we have two strategies. We're going to do whatever the top performing content is, just to make sure that it's getting seen and there's some traction. But also, if there's a particular message that they want to get out, and we should try to do that at least once a month, we're going to boost that to a particular audience.
And I would say, just to add on to that, it's a lot about the matrix, right? Like before, as we sort of talked about at the beginning, it's about likes. It was about did you have 1 million people? Now it's actually, I want someone to click on this and I want them to go to a particular website. I want them to take an action. And so what is it that we as content creators can do to entice you to take that action? And I think that that's what we're very good at, is creating the content that serves this one focus and gets people to engage with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say at the beginning, that was one of the things that I didn't understand, was that you couldn't have 7 messages. So it was sort of at Providence, all these leaders would come to you with we need this and this. And I need to talk to this audience. And at the time when I was first starting, I was like, oh, how do I make them all happy? Well, you got to tell them one message, one piece of content, one message, one action.
So there's the answer to your question, Lisa. What would you tell your former self, Melissa? There it is.
Yes, I would tell my former self that multiple times.
So when your team is talking to a new client, how do you evaluate which platforms they should be focusing on? Because I find that clients often tend to focus on the platforms they use, which is not necessarily the ones that they're potential customers use.
Yeah. I mean, it really depends on their goals, right? What do you, and the goals can change all the time, but it depends on what they want to do. So are you trying to get more customers? Are you a B2B company? Are you a visual company? Are you a photographer, right? So it really just depends on what they want to do, who they want to talk to, and what they have to offer. And that's how we do that, right?
Yeah. And I would say some of the people that we have talked to, what we determine is, hey, we're going to start on these 2 channels. And I hear you saying that you want to build yourself out on LinkedIn, and you want to be known for whatever category you're in, right? A doctor, a marketing person. But let's first do a really good job here and build these 2 channels out, and then take that step. So instead of having, I think a lot of people make the mistake of, hey, I'm going to do 5 channels. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're making so many pieces of content, because what they don't get is you can't create one piece of content for all 5 channels.
Yeah.
So, so I think that Sara and I have sort of learned how to have that conversation.
Yeah.
We hear you and we know you want to be on these, but first let's do this one really, really well. And then we'll help you grow the others. And
Yeah.
so
It's the same with what we do just as far as channels, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's see, you've got $5,000 and you want to be on 20 different things.
yeah,
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
right.
How do you navigate as content creators the available assets that a client has? Because video obviously is a highly, highly important,
Yeah.
not platform, format.
Medium.
Is the word. Medium, thank you. But I mean, I don't make ads, I run them, right? So sometimes a client says, here's a 500 by 500 banner, and I say, okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
But you have the power to actually like fix that a little bit.
Yeah, well, we start from the beginning, right? So we start from the beginning with the strategy and your goals, and right. And if it doesn't speak to that, then maybe that's not for right now. We obviously prefer to shoot ourselves because, then you can manage the quality or get someone else to shoot. But
And I think it's having that conversation with them, saying to them, do you have a shoot coming up? What pictures are you taking?
Yeah.
What are other parts of your company? If it's a bigger company, do you have other things happening? And that way, the more we know about everything that they're doing, the easier it is for us to say, oh,
Totally.
And maybe it's a slideshow and not a video, or something else, depending on that.
Oh, I've had to do that before. I'm like, we know we're going to do billboards, so don't do a bunch of freaking vertical photos.
Yeah.
So it's just like thinking about it when you create the content.
But starting from the beginning with the strategy usually helps weed out a lot of those issues. It's when you have to play catch up or there's something pops up that is timely.
I think that's the benefit of having the content and the paid media people talking all the time.
Yeah.
Because absolutely having everybody in the room in the beginning so that we, could come in and go, no, you need to be here and here. So then they're not just throwing, 300 by 250 at us and 60-second video.
It's much easier when we're all in the same plan and we all have the same ideas of what we're trying to accomplish. Yeah.
This is sort of like the best of 2024. What did you learn? What came out of 2024 that made you better?
AI.
Yes.
Yeah, actually.
I mean, like I made it. It's not like it wasn't around before, but just from just making my life easier, organizing things.
Yeah. Yeah. And just running things by it too. Like, hey, what do you think of this? Right? And you get some feedback and you're like, wow, that's great. Thank you.
I know. I love it. I had my growth coach put in a bunch of strengths, like all my strength tests in there to tell me what kind of assistant I would need. And so an AI assistant, but like what we would need to do.
Yeah. When I was really digging into AI at the beginning of last year or this year, it was AI isn't going to take over, but the people who know how to use AI are.
Yeah. If you're not doing it, you're way behind.
Yeah. And also like AI doesn't have a face. So like creating content with it does, but you can kind of tell.
Oh yeah.
But creating videos of yourself, no one's going to take that over.
So I have a confession, Sara and Melissa. You all launched a series of lessons, I would say, for people learning how to do their own social media. I have not even tried to look at it because I know that is not my skill set.
Well, it's designed for people who want to learn from scratch. You already probably know, whether you know it or not, that half the stuff that we're teaching, but it takes like if you're just building a social media presence, like what should I be thinking about, what colors should I be using, what are my brand tone, like who's my audience, how to identify audience personas, and then how to create great content and what tools you can use to make it easier, that kind of stuff. But for you, I think most of that stuff anyway, so I don't take it personally.
Well, thank you. So then what kind of person, you kind of touched on this already, do you think would really benefit from those units?
I've met a lot of people, and that's why that we did the class, is because I've met a lot of people who would really benefit from it. Mostly like in my small networking groups with people without a budget, who have to do it themselves, but like have no idea what to, like, no idea where to start.
Yeah.
Granted, some of it's going to be, you know, yeah, of course, that's my brand, that's my logo, right? But a lot of it's going to be like, oh, I didn't realize that, or I never thought of that, right? So I think it's got something for almost everyone. I also think that like in the role you were in, Melissa, you had team members who could have benefited from that, right? They came from other departments, they came from PR, they came from other things, and they just taking that class can kind of get everyone on the same page. Like, oh, we shouldn't create this content without knowing what we want to do with it and who we want to talk to, right?
Right. And I would agree with that. I would say there's sections of that deals with responding to people, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you respond?
Yeah.
Is it important? Do you do it on the feed? Probably not. DM them, right? So it's little things that you don't think about that you're like, oh, of course.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a great, starting point.
Yeah. It's like a minimal invest. It's like what, $100, $150?
Well, thank you both for joining us. But before we let you go, I know Melissa touched on this a little bit already, but if you both could go back in time and give yourselves at the beginning of your career one piece of advice, what would it be?
My one was going to be that just because it looks impressive doesn't mean it's the best thing to do. And that goes back to like the likes and the impressions that we all talked about, where we used to do reports where we said this had 5 million likes, which really, as the four of us know, means nothing, right? So I think if I would have had a better understanding and known, like, you know what, I'm actually going to spend $10,000 for this, right? This specific goal. Yeah. It would have accomplished so much more.
Yeah. I think mine is just going to be what I always say is like, if you don't know why you're doing it, then don't do it. Right. It's just as simple as that. Like,
I love that.
You can, because you're just going to be a hamster on a wheel otherwise, round and round and round, and not knowing or not feeling any sense of accomplishment. Even if it's like little goals, which I always, even in personal life, I'm like, all right, set a little goal so you can feel good about yourself, and then like set another one and then set another one. So I think even if you have little brand goals, even if you're just starting out, then you can feel like you're doing something. You can feel like you're not wasting your efforts and your money, right? So just know why you're doing it.
It's like how I start every to-do list with right to-do list. So I've
checked it off.
I wanted to add one more thing. How I met Sara, I was working in marketing for the Rat City Roller Girls, and Sara was one of the founders, I believe.
No, I wasn't a founder. I was pregnant when they actually started. So
gotcha.
That doesn't go well together. Yeah.
No. Yeah. But what was your name?
iRockit.
iRockit.
Which is not coincidentally, the name of my company, RockitWorks. Right? It's a manifestation.
Yes. That was fun.
Yeah. That was fun. We did a good job.
Well, thank you very much, y'all.
Thank you, guys. This was fun. Let's do it again.
Thanks for listening to the Paid Media Playbook. Want more content like this? Follow our agency, Double Z Media, on LinkedIn. You can find the link in the episode description.